Continuing our conversation with LA County Supervisor Don Knabe. Don, on an earlier show, you mentioned how so many votes at, among the five of you Board of Supervisors are 5-0. There's agreement on it. And we look at Sacramento, which is dysfunctional. We look at Washington, D.C., which is dysfunctional. How come the county Board of Supervisors seems to get its act together and the other levels don't?
Well, one of the things that's taken out of our debate is the partisanship. I mean, and if you look at the continuity of either Sacramento or Washington right now, it's very partisan.
Yes.
We are the recipient. I mean, while we sit here as the largest county in America, while we have a $20 billion plus budget, at the end of the day, we know what we have and how we spend it. And we have to fix the problems because we're the safety net. We respond to all the mandates from the state and federal government. And so we all have a certain responsibility.
To solve problems.
To solve problems, and we have to do it together. As I said, and you mentioned earlier, most of our votes are 5-0, sometimes 4-1. The only partisan votes we have are maybe taking a position on a ballot initiative or something like that. But other than that, you know, we're forced to look way beyond. The other thing is that we have the ability to make decisions. We're not contained by a gubernatorial veto or a presidential veto. We're not contained by a Republican caucus or a Democratic caucus telling us how to vote. And that's what happens a lot, particularly in Sacramento, where the caucus will hold their members to a vote on one issue that really has totally unrelated to a good public policy issue because they're trying to make a point, with the threat always of running someone against you in your own primary. So we get to go beyond that. That's why I love my job. I mean, you can really make a difference. You can do your debates, you can get upset, you can fight the fight, but at the end of the day, our job is to fix problems and to help people. And that's our focus. That's the way we look at it. I think, you know, Sacramento and Washington get a little more esoteric and try to do it, but at the end of the day, we're responsible. And that's why we look at things different. We don't look, you know, when somebody comes into a county health clinic, we don't ask, are you a Republican or Democrat? When somebody comes into our jail system, are you registered to vote? Are you a Republican or are you a Democrat? We don't ask that.
You don't have the luxury of philosophical extremes that you have to follow. You solve problems.
We are, because I mean, we're the safety net. The ultimate safety net for the people in need are on the backs of county government. And then, you know, you take that on down to cities and their responsibilities, the quality of life, police, fire, and all the other kinds of things too. So you really, your focus is not partisan. Your focus is not, some philosophical debate. Our debate is how do you help these people in need
and
that you're obligated by law to do.
And you represent, just for the record, over 2 million constituents, more than most governors in the United States.
Right. When I was on the Homeland Security Commission, I mean, I had 2 different governors that served on it with me that I had more people in my district than they govern in their states.
Amazing. I know one of your pride and joys is the Safe Surrender program that apparently over 90
lives have been saved through that program. We celebrated the 10th anniversary last year, and it was an amazing process to bring back some of the families and the kids. And you know, you see a child that was this close to being in a trash can or a dumpster or the ocean or a lake, and you see the joyous families that are together. We've had, I think, 3 or 4 this year already. So we're up to 90 lives been saved.
And just for the record, safe surrender means no questions asked.
No question, no name, no shame, no blame. But the mother, we just had a situation in Long Beach. The mother has to go. Mother, father, grandma, whoever wants, the baby has to go through the threshold of any hospital here in Los Angeles County, any fire station here in Los Angeles County, any sheriff station. But you can't leave it in a parking lot. You can't leave it next to a car or in a car. You have to cross the threshold.
And we had a tragic situation just recently in Long Beach with the mother and the grandmother, and the prosecutor appropriately has come down very hard on them.
Yes, I mean, from where that baby was located to, say, St. Mary's in Long Beach was not that far a drive. All they had to do was to drive the baby down that far. And no name, no shame, no blame.
And tragically, sex trafficking among minors is not just a problem in Asia, but it's right here.
Right here in our own backyard. And when I say our backyard, I mean all of Los Angeles County and Southern California. And it could be because of the ports, it could be because of the border, it could be of LAX. But it was a program that brought to my attention, briefed by our probation folks, that I was absolutely shocked and dismayed about. And so we've created a program through a grant program to isolate a courtroom in Compton, to deal just with this issue, because most of these young ladies, low self-esteem, come from domestic violence kinds of situations, or no parent, or one single parent, whatever it may be, and trying to deal, bringing everyone together, from healthcare to mental health to the investigators to everyone else, to try to treat them, to show them, and including housing, to get them away, because in many cases the pimp is waiting right side out the court door, because as soon as they get their little slap on the wrist, they go out there and they start pimping.
And you're
again.
pushing for getting transit involved in this campaign.
Well, in addition to everything else, we got Metrolink as well as our Metro folks involved. And just the other day, one of our senior executives of Metro noticed a situation and reported it to the law enforcement. We're not sure what happened, but the public transit is another opportunity to move these kids. And he's young as 11 years old, 12 years old. I mean, it's a horrific thing, and it's something you always think about in some other third world country, but right here in our own backyard.
Yeah. Okay, in the next segment, we're going to get down close and personal with the supervisor. You won't want to miss it. We'll be right back. We're back with Supervisor Don Knabe. Don, I know you played in a band when you were in high school, and you once told me that part of your ability to relate to people came from your musical experience.
I owe just about all my self-esteem to music. I literally do. I mean, it was such an important part of my life. But even, at the time, you obviously don't think that. But as I reflect back, I mean, it had an incredible impact. I had my own band, and just had a great time.
Well, just to show you lessons well learned, Don and Julie participated in a wonderful event, Dancing with the Stars, raising money for Memorial Hospital. And here they are at the event. And you raised more money than any other couple. And the event raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for Memorial.
Yeah, we had a great time. It was a lot of work. We had a lot of fun. We've been practicing every day since November for the event. And, Julie and I have actually, today is our 44th wedding anniversary. And we've been dancing all this time. When you dance, there are no mistakes. We've never had a choreographer, though. And so you have to learn a routine and things like that. So it was a lot of work, but the support was overwhelming.
Yeah.
We were able to, I think the whole event raised about $280,000 for the Women's Health Center at Long Beach Memorial, which is a great place for women's health. And Julie and I were able to raise over $123,000.
Well, congratulations. Well worthwhile. Your re-election plans. I understand you've announced that you are running for re-election, one more term. You've been in office for 16 years now.
Yeah, well, I'm up for re-election this June, 2012. It will be my last term due to term limits. From my perspective, age-wise and everything else, it's a pretty good time to move on as well, too. So we're gearing up for our campaign, and God willing, it'll be our last term, and I've been blessed to be a part of probably the best government operation in the country, one of the great political jobs in America, to really make a difference in people's lives.
And you were on our show the very first time when you were running.
Exactly. I think
for supervisor.
Yeah, we did it over at the Lakewood
Five
station.
or six candidates
running.
Right.
You moderated a debate, and I reflect back to how relaxed I am with you right now, and always have been, and been the friendship. But that first time on your show, I was a nervous wreck, because I knew I was entering into a debate that you always want to make sure your facts are squared away and do that. But you kept the moderation and kept us going, and I think I did pretty well that day.
You sure did. And let me mention what you just referred to. We are taping this show on Friday, March 2nd. It will be airing in a couple of weeks, but happy anniversary. This is your 44th anniversary.
44th wedding anniversary today. So they said it wouldn't last.
Well, how do you feel after 16 years in public office, Don?
Well, I feel very good. I mean, I feel like I've been able to make a difference. And I've had an incredible staff over all these years. I always tell my staff I want them to be the Norsons of the 8th floor, because people come to us not because they're happy. They don't call us up to say thank you. They always have a need or a hurting. And so our job is to make sure that we get them through the system, through the safety net. But more importantly, I always want to know, if they didn't know how to contact my office, is there a way to fix the problem? And as we talked before, I can get beyond presidential or gubernatorial vetoes or caucuses. We can look at things, fix things within the system, within the confines of the law, to make a difference in these people's lives. And I enjoy every minute of it. I still enjoy it. That's why I'm running for re-election, to be able to make a difference in people's lives.
And let me say a word about your staff, because I've dealt with them for a long time, over many years, and they are first-rate people, and they are so loyal to you. I've noticed in the interviewing of hundreds of elected officials, you can tell a lot about an official by the attitude of their staff, and the loyalty of your staff and their deep affection for you is quite obvious.
Well, it's a mutual affection, and I push them very hard, but I don't push them to do anything more than I'll do myself. And we run a very strong operation. We're very visible. We work very, very hard and a lot of long hours.
Okay, switching subjects here. We have the Republican primary ongoing. What do you think is going to happen at the national level?
Well, yeah, on the national level, it's sort of interesting. I haven't picked a candidate yet.
You're not alone.
Yeah,
seems to be a reluctance in congealing around one.
I served on the Homeland Security Commission with Governor Romney, but I think the debate. What concerns me is everybody's trying to push each other to extremes. I think that as of right now, I mean, and it's been said nationally too on some other shows, I think both of the candidates, the candidates are doing a pretty good job of giving Obama some good openings in the fall. I really think, at some point, and when you look at Romney's ability to garner votes, and he's always staying around that 28-35%, unless it's a head-on thing, I think you really see some indecisions. It's sort of like the other kinds of polling that you do, the women's vote, whatever it may be. I wouldn't be surprised to see a brokered convention unless, Romney starts just to roll over everyone and pick up the delegates. If there's not a strong delegate count, I wouldn't be surprised to see a brokered convention.
It's interesting how in the primary, in the Republican primary, you need to prove your bona fides as the ultimate conservative to win the nomination. But then when you go to the general election, you need those independents and some Democrats to win. So you have to move to the right in the primary and then do a quick 180 back to the middle in the general.
And it's the same with the Democratic side too. They got to save the progressive side.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things. That's why we are where we are as partisanship. I mean, that's why things aren't getting done in Washington, is the fact that you just push yourself so far when the real job you have to do on behalf of the taxpayers is spend their money wisely and solve problems.
We need a little more teamwork in Washington.
Absolutely.
We need more teamwork in Sacramento. And thank you for being part of a really good working team.
Well, again, it really makes a difference because our focus is not on whether you're Republican or Democrat. Our focus is on the people we represent and the problems we have to solve, and it really makes a difference. And I get concerned at the extremism on both sides of the aisle. When at the end of the day, when they pass those things, their mandates that come down to counties, cities, school districts, community college districts, sometimes I don't think that they realize the impact that they have on these folks' lives, because it's always one thing to say and get all the credit for it rhetoric, but those that have to do the work, like counties, where the rubber meets the road.
Where the rubber meets the road. Okay, we'll be back with the rest of our show after these messages. I think we're very fortunate to have a public servant of the quality of Don Knabe representing our city and this district. There was some debate as to whether or not that he was going to keep that district, but thankfully he did. And Don, you have about 30 seconds to say whatever you want to our viewers.
Well, I just, first of all to you, Art, I've appreciated your friendship over the years and the opportunity to be on your show. And, as an elected official, you feel a real sense of responsibility. And it's nice to be able to get in a format where you can articulate some of the issues outside the normal political debate. And I think it's important that people get to see all of us in roles, not just in this great crowd or presenting a scroll or doing something, but a one-on-one where you get to answer some questions and really deal with the issues at hand. And at the end of the day, you feel this strong sense of responsibility to your constituents. I love my job. I want to continue it for 4 more years, but most importantly, I'm just honored to be able to serve and represent. Like I say, it's more than most governors. And, this kid from Illinois and the Mississippi River, I feel blessed to be where I'm at.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Please be with us next week for the next edition of Straight Talk. Good night, everyone.